Have you ever been swept off your feet by someone's intense affection? It's a whirlwind of attention, a sudden downpour of adoration that seems almost too good to be true. Compliments, gifts, endless messages, a constant stream of communication that leaves you feeling like the most important person in the world. It's intoxicating, isn't it? It can feel like a dream, the start of something epic, a fairy tale unfolding right before your eyes, a love story destined for greatness. But sometimes what looks like a fairy tale, what presents itself as an idyllic romance, is actually the beginning of something much darker. A carefully constructed illusion designed to mask a more sinister agenda. Today, I want to talk about love bombing, a term that might sound like the ultimate expression of romance, but is in reality a psychological tactic that turns affection into control. It's a subtle, insidious form of manipulation that can leave you feeling confused, isolated, and trapped. Love bombing isn't just about romance. It's not confined to the realm of dating and intimate partnerships. It can happen in friendships or even with family, anywhere where there's an imbalance of power and a desire to control another person. Here's how it works, the mechanics of this manipulative strategy. Someone showers you with over-the-top flattery, an avalanche of praise that seems almost too good to be true. Surprise gifts and constant attention, a relentless pursuit of your time and affection, especially early in the relationship. This intense focus happens right at the beginning, setting a precedent for an unsustainable level of attention. You feel special, chosen, like you're the only person in the world who matters to them. Maybe even like you found your soulmate, the person you've been waiting for your entire life. But beneath all that intensity, behind the grand gestures and the constant praise, love bombing is about one thing, a singular, often selfish purpose: manipulation, a calculated effort to gain control over you and your emotions. You might wonder, why would anyone do this? What motivates someone to engage in such a manipulative and harmful behavior? Sometimes it's about deep insecurity, a profound lack of self-worth that drives them to seek external validation, or a desperate need for validation. They need constant reassurance and attention to feel good about themselves. For others, it's a way to gain power or control, to establish dominance in the relationship, making you dependent on their approval, so that your self-esteem becomes tied to their opinion of you, so that you'll ignore their flaws or even their bad behavior. Because you're so caught up in the initial rush of affection, you're willing to overlook warning signs. A lot of love bombers have narcissistic traits, a sense of entitlement, and a lack of empathy, or anxious attachment styles. They fear abandonment and use love bombing as a way to secure the relationship quickly. But the truth is, anyone can use this tactic, regardless of their personality or background, whether they realize it or not. Sometimes, it's a learned behavior, a pattern they've picked up from past relationships. Love bombing usually follows a cycle, a predictable pattern of behavior that can be incredibly damaging. First, there's the idealization stage, the initial period of intense affection and attention. Grand gestures, endless texts, a constant barrage of communication designed to overwhelm you. Promises about your future together. Declarations of love and commitment that seem premature and unrealistic. You barely have time to catch your breath, to process what's happening, before they're talking about moving in, taking a huge step forward in the relationship at an accelerated pace, or planning a life together. Discussing marriage, children, and a shared future as if it's already a done deal. It can feel intoxicating, like you're caught in a whirlwind romance. But it's designed to hook you fast, to create a strong emotional bond before you have a chance to see the red flags. Then comes devaluation. The shift from idealization to criticism and control. Suddenly, things start to shift. The dynamic changes, and the person you thought you knew begins to reveal a different side. The love bomber pulls away, becomes less attentive and less affectionate, criticizes you, or becomes controlling out of nowhere. They start to nitpick your flaws and try to dictate your behavior. The attention you once had, the constant praise and affection, is replaced by confusion and self-doubt. You start to question your own worth and wonder what you did to deserve this change in behavior. You're left wondering, constantly analyzing the situation and trying to figure out what went wrong. What did I do wrong? You blame yourself for the shift in their behavior, convinced that you're the problem. And finally, the discard phase. The abrupt end to the relationship, leaving you feeling abandoned and confused. Sometimes, they'll end things abruptly, without explanation or warning, or just become cold and distant. slowly withdrawing from the relationship until it fades away completely. Other times, the cycle starts all over again, with a renewed period of idealization, keeping you off balance, constantly unsure of where you stand in the relationship, and always chasing that first rush of affection, desperately trying to recapture the initial high of the love bombing phase. So, how do you spot love bombing? How can you identify this manipulative tactic before you get caught in the cycle? Before you become emotionally invested and vulnerable to manipulation, watch for red flags, warning signs that indicate something isn't right. Excessive compliments and flattery, praise that feels insincere or over the top. Constant communication, a relentless stream of texts, calls, and messages. Pressure to commit quickly, to take the relationship to the next level before you're ready. Grand gestures early on, extravagant gifts, and romantic displays that seem disproportionate to the stage of the relationship. Jealousy or anger when you try to set boundaries. A possessive attitude and a refusal to respect your limits. If a relationship feels like it's moving way too fast, if you feel like you're being swept away by a whirlwind, or if someone reacts badly when you say no, when you try to assert your independence, trust your instincts. Listen to that inner voice that tells you something isn't right. Real love respects your boundaries, honors your needs, and allows you to be yourself. Manipulation ignores them, disregards your feelings, and tries to control your behavior. If any of this sounds familiar, if you recognize these patterns in your own relationships, don't be afraid to set boundaries. Protect yourself by establishing clear limits and enforcing them consistently. Reach out to friends or family and take things slow. Seek support from trusted sources and resist the urge to rush into anything. You deserve a relationship built on trust and respect, a connection based on mutual understanding and genuine affection, not intensity or control, not a whirlwind of emotions designed to manipulate and dominate you. If this video helped you, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. And tell me your story in the comments. Have you experienced love bombing? What were the red flags you noticed? If you or someone you know feels trapped or unsafe, if you're in a situation that feels manipulative or controlling, ask for help. You're not alone. There are resources available to support you and help you break free from the cycle of manipulation. Remember, you are worthy of love and respect. Real love doesn't control or overwhelm. It nurtures and supports. It empowers you. It helps you grow and become the best version of yourself.